Well, India is likely to allow Chinese firms to invest under the electronics component PLI. However, according to sources, this can be done only through joint ventures with Indian firms. That's not all. In all cases, the management and control of the JV will have to remain with the Indian entity. Ashmit Kumar is here with the details. Ashmit, what are you picking up?
Well, an important decision this as far as the electronics component PLI is concerned. Bear in mind that a large part of the global value chain rests in China. Therefore, a long-term decision being taken by the government that, yes, Chinese entities will be allowed to partake as a part of this electronics component PLI scheme, but it is subject to a number of riders. Number one, the first rider is that these Chinese entities cannot come by themselves. They necessarily have to come in. The only route possible is through a joint venture or a JV route, and that JV has to be done with an Indian entity. Number one. Number two, the management and control of this joint venture will necessarily have to rest with the Indian entity. So the Indian entity will need to have a 51% shareholding or higher. What the government is thinking about is that for certain critical components, it will be willing to allow a Chinese shareholding of 49%, but for other components, the shareholding of the Chinese entity will be capped at about 26% or 10%. These are various slabs depending on the criticality and the sensitivity of the component at hand. Number three, with respect to as far as transfer of technology is concerned, the government is very clear that any such JV that will be sailing through for the PLI scheme will happen only and only if there's a transfer of technology clause. The government wants the technology to flow from the Chinese companies to the Indian counterparts. And fourthly and finally, only because there is compliance with these three aspects does not translate into an automatic approval. The government is quite clear that any FDI that's coming in via these Chinese entities will be subject to heavy scrutiny. The approval, if any, the discretion will lie completely with the government. The approval, if any, if it comes, will be happening under the press note 3 that was issued by the DPIIT. So clearly the government taking a longer term view, willing to allow the Chinese entities to come on board the PLI scheme, but subject to heavy scrutiny by the centre.
Right. Thank you, Ashmit, for that. India